9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We can hear you.
Hello.
Tom, we'll put you on very shortly, matey. We're just going to do a bit of an intro.
Yep.
Hi, people. How you doing?
Just turn this down a little bit. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all well. We are live. We're going to do a chat with Tom Warrington. Looking forward to this as well. We always look forward to talking to people in the paranormal field. One of the greatest parts of it is getting to know people, and it's always, we always find it great. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Any questions, put them in comments. We'll be able to.
Irene.
We'll be able to answer those questions, hopefully, or at least cover them. If we don't answer them, then we'll write them on a piece of paper and get back to you. So yeah, hello Irene, how you doing? Jasmine, how you doing? And hello everyone else. So yeah, Tom Warrington, we'll be bringing you on shortly.
Yeah. So guys, I'm going to be nipping off. I'm going to be in the in comment box, but I'm going to put Tom Warrington in.
Yep, great. Hello Joanne, how you doing? So hi Tom, how you doing?
Hello, good evening.
Yep, it's do you know what? It's a very good evening as well, because we've had some really nice weather amongst this lockdown. It's
we
rain.
have.
Yeah, and I'm happy about the rain.
Do you know what? I am as well. My grass is scorched.
Yes.
So
exactly.
I didn't want to pull the hose out, as it were, but yeah, the heavens have opened.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's it. And I was getting a long list of outside jobs to do as well. So
yeah.
Puts them on the floor down. So we've got we have Jasmine, Trisha. Hi everyone. Saying hello to Thomas as well.
Hello.
So yeah, it's first time we've spoke to each other, properly. So yeah, been looking forward to this. You've got a long history in paranormal as well. You started in 90s, weren't it?
Yeah. It all started. Wow. We're gonna really turn the clocks back. I'm going to show my age now.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
I mean, the book that my uncle gave me, and I'm sure people tuning in are sick of bloody hearing me say this, but it was a fundamental turning point with regards to my interest in the paranormal. Casebook on the Enfield haunting. I mean, what more could you want for a 10-year-old? It was a bit of a weird gift, I must add. I didn't sleep for a long time after that, and a bit weird, a 10-year-old sleeping in your mum and dad's bedroom for a long time, but it happened, and it started the path of where I am today, basically. So, I mean, there was so much more in between. I'm sure we'll cover that, but it's again, I love talking to people on how they begin their journey. Usually, it's a personal experience, and I've not really had that. I've had a handful of things that I can't explain, but initially, it was all down to a book, a single book that started it all, and that's how it started, really.
That is amazing as well. I think I started. I was young. I was ill one night. We're looking at maybe when I was 6 or 7. I had a fever. I had a dream, and then I know I woke up and I was still seeing the dream around the bedroom. While
Wow.
in the bedroom, I actually got up, left room. I didn't know where to go because I was like, my mum were downstairs.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh, I don't want to disturb my mum. So I ran back in my room, and my dream was still, it was a pirate ship. I know.
Okay.
There
Okay.
were skeletons on pirate ship. I went back into my room, and I could still see it. And do you know what? I can recall that image right now to this day. And then from there, I used to wake up and see silhouettes on blue curtains, a lot of things since then. But when it comes to like reading into it, like yourself, my mum and dad bought me a book. Arthur C. Clarke.
Oh yes. Yeah.
The blue book with the skull on front.
Yeah.
Yep, they got me that, and like human combustion and all these stories. It triggered me into thinking
But it
about.
does.
Yeah.
And the thing is that people don't realise is that the paranormal is a massive umbrella. I mean, it's huge. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not all about the ghosts and the poltergeists and phantoms, whatever you want to call them. It is a huge, diverse area. And once you start researching into one avenue, I've always thought that somehow these avenues are linked.
Yeah.
Now, I've looked deeply into ufology recently with recent guests that have had on my show. And the more I look into things, it's somehow these two entities are connected, where someone sees a UFO and then suddenly in their home, they're experiencing what we call a haunting. Now, is that coincidence? I don't think it is. I think there's something fundamental that is connecting the two phenomena to entwine it all. I mean, we call it the paranormal because it's not normal, it's subnormal. It's a descriptive terminology that I think is very loose. Again, with labels in the paranormal, I mean, when you say a ghost, I mean, that's a very old terminology to kind of label something that we think is someone coming back from the dead. But not many people know this, that ghost is derived from the Old English term to be aghast, which is to be scared. So isn't it now time, where we're at with paranormal research and some amazing groups and researchers out there, that we try and change this label of what we deem a ghost? Because let's be honest, we don't know what it is. And if people do say that, you know, that's their opinion, but there's no evidence strong enough to suggest that it is someone coming back from the dead. What we are experiencing is something probably far more believable. Well, yeah. I mean, you think of a ghost, you think Scooby-Doo. You think of you think of the mystery team going around in the van with Yvette and Carl. You know, sorry to drop that in, but you know, it's one of those terms that I think, especially with youngsters. You mentioned your children being, you know, somewhat intrigued with that kind of scary side, and I think we need to get away from that kind of perception of being scary. Yes, it is scary. People experience some phenomenal experiences that are truly. So I'll tell you what. If I saw an apparition, that'll be it for me. I'd give up all this. That'll be it. I'd be running in the other direction of people running for the ghost. You know. I'm one of those people. But I think
that's fair enough as well. Everyone's got a different reaction.
Yeah.
And like you said there, I've seen them, and I think what I'm looking for is a method so I can go, right, I've seen it. I
Yeah.
want a method so I can get something to happen. So I can
Okay.
say, Tom, come round to it somewhere, you know. I'm going to do something and we're going to see this apparition.
So what you're searching for
A
then
method.
is something to recreate that instance. And I've got a talk coming up at Parafest in Skegness, and the talk is basically based on road ghosts. And that's had not so much coverage. I mean, there is books out there, literature out there that does cover it, but it's very an area that's very underlooked. And I think it's in a very, very important area, because if you think about it, road ghosts are apparitions that appear or jump in front of cars, phantom hitchhikers. Now, they're not necessarily in a haunted house where we kind of depict this imagination of a beautiful Tudor house, a Tudor lovely apparition walking down the staircase. So that restricts that from itself, really, doesn't it? And to have an apparition at that moment in time, I think there has to be a perfect ghost scenario. And I'm working on a terminology that kind of suggests that there has to be certain aspects for that person to view a ghost. I don't know what it is yet. If I did, I'd be very rich. But
there is that. I mean, the thing is, I've often thought, because we're looking at, we're dealing with light, and you've seen it with orbs, and I know orbs are it's an awful subject because they are so many things, but every now and again, the odd one could be something that's worth researching. And it could be a lot about angles as well that you see it at, because we've had cameras in a circle, and not all cameras see the same thing. And that, I think that's interesting in itself. I mean, there might be so many different factors that, like you said, you need to align to, like, you know, you need that to get that, you know, to get that vision, to get that, you know, that apparition through.
And also, I mean, what fascinates me is it's amazing that people do experience these apparitions. But when you hear of cases where there are several observers witnessing the same thing at different angles, to me, that's a given. That is a given. There's something definitely happening, whether they're sharing the same mental observation of something that's happening. I don't know what's going on, but if someone is sharing that same experience several times in a group, that's something in itself. It definitely is.
I just want to say hello to Noreen, Kaz Barrett, Vicky from Australia, also Tricia Walters.
Tricia,
hi Tricia, and she's put in message, as you know, Tom, I've been in a coma, and I remember my experience from it, but still question whether it was a fabrication in my own mind or not.
It's a good point.
It's a good point. I mean, but at the same time, I always think the brain's really, it's naturally an amazing machine in a way. Well, in a way. And I don't think it does things. There it is. I don't think it does things for no reason. Even hallucinations, the brain knows what it's doing for some reason. It might be to answer deep subconscious scenarios, a lot of things, but you know, does other external factors trigger, you know, the things that we have? For instance,
of course,
some of the dreams I have. I mean, that we could do a talk on dreams one. Actually, I could talk about dreams a lot because I literally have I've had dreams that have led me to new information.
Mm.
I didn't
Okay,
ask for it.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought to myself, did I know anything about this whatsoever? And I'm looking, I'm thinking, there's no way.
Mhm.
And once a friend of mine, he really didn't believe. He doesn't believe in spiritual side of things.
Yeah.
And I had a dream once, and he were in it, and there were a few scenarios. And then next day, I had a dream about you. People always look at me funny when I say, I had a dream about you, and they think, oh God. All these scenarios, and there were actually major things in his past, and he knew I didn't know it.
Wow.
And thing is, that's happened probably twice in my life. So I'm not saying it's something that's really common.
Hmm.
I mean, what is that? I mean, is it the fact that we might have been on the same level, close to each other, and
Yeah.
your brains do link, maybe?
I think that's how some mediums work. I think, the human mind is, I don't think we'll ever discover the power of the human mind. I mean, if you look at ancient, ancient civilizations, the things they did back then, I mean, will suggest or maybe suggest to a lot of ufologists that ancient aliens came down and gave them technology. But I think we are disregarding how powerful our mind is.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, if we really go back in time to the caveman, let's take this as a scenario where it's pitch black, you're in a cave. Now, this person hunted in the dark. He used, or she used, their senses to kill.
Yeah.
Now, where has that sense gone through time? Because I'm not being funny, but is it me, or are we getting a bit more brain dead through time, where we're relying on too much technology? We're not relying on our senses enough. And so, again, retracting back to the statement of the cave person, they had no technology. They were using themselves. They were using their senses. They were using their thought process to acquire a certain state. So,
do you know what? This will confirm what I get. What you're saying so much. I mean, I really do. Some people use "you're a caveman" as an insult, and I always say, and I always say thank you for that, because all of this is built on the fact that they could survive, where I think none of us could anymore. I don't think we could anymore. I mean, they were obviously so. I mean, there must have been hard as nails for one. I mean, survival environment that they have.
Yeah.
And like you said, they had to trust their senses so much. The fact that they use the sensors that much, what if it did keep something in the brain awake? Because they did, in the end, they did paint a lot of pictures and carvings connecting to the spiritual side.
Yeah, definitely.
So
there's no doubt they were so connected to the universe, and we must look at the Mayans for an instance. I mean, they were so ahead of their time.
Yeah,
it's absolutely. It's actually mind blowing to think where we're at now and where we're at that point in time where they were coming up with these universal calendars and suggesting points of future predictions. They were doing that.
Yeah.
And you know what? They were right on a lot of terms. So I think as the human mankind has lost its way, and I think it's down to technology. It's down. We've gone like couch potatoes. We love looking at screens. The same with ghost hunters. They love the flashing lights. Is it helping? Is it aiding us? I don't think it is. I think we're going backwards with regards to investigating certain types of phenomena. Maybe go back to basics, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, how did you start out equipment wise? I mean, our first things we used, I mean, in '97, and we we always talk about this because it's so amazing. We started out, there were no mobile phones. Well, I didn't tell you. They were about this big anyway. They didn't have a camera.
With a breadstick as well, like
that. Yeah. I mean, we had a camera with a film in it, and we had a pendulum, and that's how we started. But the photos we got were really interesting, and a lot of people said, "Well, what have you got there? How did you get that?" And that were good. And then I don't know, like you said, with technology, there's a lot of technology, and it's all really for proper scientific use, as in EMF, things like this. How much can you trust it for spiritual evidence? Yeah.
Well, an EMF meter is a very useful tool if you know what it's for and the purpose that it's for. There's a lot of people misusing equipment, and they don't know what it's for. They've seen a TV show, they think they know the ins and outs of it. A recommendation: if you're going to buy a FLIR camera, thermal imaging, you know, there's courses that you can go on to utilize that piece of equipment. You can't take it out of the box and wave it willy-nilly because you don't know what you're measuring, first off. You don't know the kind of aspect or the range it does. Again, I mean, there's too much devices now that are being created for public events. And do you know what? People love the flashing lights. They love it. There's no doubt about that. But what's it actually measuring?
Yeah. I mean, we literally, sometimes we only do pre-recorded videos because if we did a live on every investigation we did, you'd be bored. That's reality. I mean, I'll be honest, we've got some sound clips we haven't released yet, and we can't believe it because when we put, well, I'll send them to you after this.
Brilliant.
I've listened to because there were myself, brother Philip, and a friend of ours that's not even on social media, and you can hear his voices in another clip. The voice that comes through, we just can't figure out where it came from, and it happens twice in two different sound clips. And we did this. We did a set of microphones in a circle, and not all of them pick up the same stuff. Yeah, so we try and cover each direction, and only two microphones picked up this sound out of four. Wow. So yeah, I know what you mean with the misuse of technology as well. I mean, like the FLIR equipment, the process inside, it won't show you every heat signature. It's got to be, it's got to be on for a certain amount of time before it shows. So there's a delay. That delay could be seen as something coming through. What did you start out with? Mostly observing?
Yeah, I mean, the pen and paper. It's probably the best tool that you'll ever have, and a watch or a timepiece, something to gauge or report. I mean, it's dwindling out the groups that are actually logging what they're viewing, what they're recording, because you know as well as I do, and a lot of the viewers out there, that you know you can trawl through hours of footage. Yeah. But you need to timestamp stuff because you can spend. I mean, I've got footage from the Golden Fleece that I'm halfway through. I've got over 100 hours worth of footage. I mean, it's just stupid. It really is stupid. I mean, ridiculous for one person to go through. Yeah. But again, a simple pen and paper is how I started. That's all it was, and then it evolved from the tape cassette. Oh God! And I've still got the one I've had for many years. Brilliant.
I mean, I just want to say hello to Leslie Hudson, and there's Barry Frankish in here as well. I know you know Barry, don't you?
Oh God, yeah,
Yeah.
I know Barry.
Hey, Barry, how you doing? We were actually saying, you know, dictaphones that they've become digital.
Yeah,
When we started out, there were the actual proper tape recording heads.
right. So yeah, I know.
I actually prefer those because it's the technology. It uses magnetism.
Right.
So
And do you know what? If we look down the road of the stone tape theory,
yeah, that's what we're thinking. Yeah,
now I see that as a big tape recorder.
yeah.
It really is. If you do research it with the materials that were used in castles and stately homes, you will see a high number of a certain particle, which is on tape cassettes and video tape cassettes. Now, when you start playing those VHS tapes, what happens? You keep playing it, the sound starts to go.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
The visual starts to go. Now, is that what we're actually seeing when people experience an apparition where it starts off as a full-bodied apparition? Okay, let's go back to like Ted the Drummer back in the early 1600s of a drummer boy in a famous stately home. Full-bodied apparition. Now, through time, it lost the apparition, and all that was left was the sound. So, in respect, it's like a big tape recorder.
It's like a spiritual decay.
It is, yeah.
I've seen a film. I mean, I know it's only a film, but these films are made, and the writers of these films, they do a lot of research before they make them. So I like watching films and thinking, this guy, what we're writing this, he knew what he was doing. And you can see where he's coming from. And it were about a woman's spirit that over time forgot what she looked like. So every time she appeared, she had a blank face.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that, isn't there? Because it's a very detailed thing.
And again, I wrote an article about 4 years ago, and it was actually shared on quite a number of international magazines. It was very to the point. It was called The Apparition, and it's on my public page if you want to see it. And
definitely give us the links, and we'll share.
I will do. I don't know. I'm crap with technology, so you better have to bear with me. But it was kind of depicting. I mean, I started writing a book about colours in the paranormal, and what this was loosely based on was the fact that the same person witnessing the same kind of apparition changed colour through time. Now, as you know, when something fades out, it starts to go through the spectrum.
Yeah, like a star.
Exactly. So is that what people are experiencing when they see the green lady right through to the white lady? Same apparition, but different time of the observation. So is that paranormal experience losing its path through time? It's losing that recording, as it were.
I've never thought of that. That's an amazing thing. And I totally get where you're coming. I've never, but I like that. I've never thought of that. Like those giant stars, they start white, and then they become a red giant.
Exactly. I mean, if you look back in, I mean, we're so spoiled in the UK with history. I mean, it's phenomenal. But with ghost stories, you can really dig deep and start from the original story, try and retract it back, maybe to the 1500s, to the 1600s. It's full-bodied apparition. But through time, to this day, they're probably seeing the same apparition, but a different colour. No sound, maybe, I don't know, but it loses that kind of that kind of empathy of being that full-bodied apparition.
That is really interesting. You'll have me thinking about this. I do I must admit, when people say like in paranormal field, they've copied something. I must admit, I see people do things. I always think to like to think that I've mentioned it to them. I saw you do this. I found it interesting, and it's got me thinking, and I might write something about it. And it's like you do observe a lot of other people in the field, and you do learn from them.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, like yourself, I can tell we could talk all night, and
Yeah.
there's such a wealth of information there. That's what this is about. It's great. Yeah.
You know, again, I don't. There's not enough of this. I mean,
No.
there's some. That's one of the benefits. I mean, I do slate social media on the paranormal. I really do. I fear for paranormal investigators and groups that are doing well and doing proper research. But it's, as you know, social media has given the rise of a monster here. But as you say, like shows like this, shows like mine, shows like a lot of people, this is what it's all about. It's about talking to people, sharing your ideas, and there's not enough of that with groups. There's nothing. There's nothing down there.
Yeah, I mean, the lockdown has given rise to the chat. And I'll be honest with you, after lockdown, we're not going to change that. We're going to keep on doing these.
Cool.
And I hope the other people still do these chats, because there's some. It's really become interesting. I mean, they get people on from like practicing witches, all the way through a decent spectrum, like you were saying.
Yeah.
People looking into UFOs, and then there's people looking at legends from all over the world as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the chat shows are bringing this out, and I do think that I think it's been great, and I hope it continues now as a normal.
Hope so.
Because I mean, you get a lot of insights into, like for instance, you mentioned the ancient aliens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that, because
it's a great. Do you know what? It's a great and for us as a human race to disregard we are the only intellectual thing on the universe is somewhat ridiculous. It is just ridiculous. I mean, there's no way, I say, excuse the pun, on this earth that we are alone. Because we can't. And do you know what? There's some great evidence out there. And do you know what really annoys me? There seems to be better UFO footage than there is of ghosts. What's all that about? I don't understand that. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Tell me why that is.
I mean, I think European Union, or is it the UN? They've actually got an ambassador to alien contact. They've got an ambassador.
Wow.
I'm sure it's something you can look up. It's a lady, and I think they've got it there set up. So if it happens, I mean,
well, do you know?
I'll look into it again, but I'm sure that position exists.
I had a guest on my radio. I had a guest on my radio show about 3 years ago now, and she said something that I was gobsmacked with. And apparently, in her, because America's huge, it was probably in her state. I'm not going to mention names, but she was proclaiming that in their primary schools, they were teaching the kids what would happen if a UFO landed in the school. Now, as a government kind of practice, I mean, if that happened in the UK, I would be concerned as a parent somewhat. But in America, it's very open. It's very accepted. I think we are a number of years behind America with regards to ufology and also, dare I say it, ghost hunting. I think they are very good at trying different things. I think like places like the Ghost Club, the SPR, we smash it out the park with that. But with regards to groups and paranormal communities kind of coming together, I think they are leading the way. and specifically trying new ideas out. And that's something
Yeah.
that we don't see in the UK. They all seem to follow the same methodology. They do the same thing. I mean, I'm very lucky to get invited onto public events, and it's very interesting to see how they work. And you know what? 8 groups out of 10 that I see use exactly the same method. The opening circle, the opening prayer. I mean, what's all that about? I mean, where's that come from? I mean, is that something that somebody's created? Why do we do that? Why is no one questioning it? Why are we doing it?
Would you say
Again,
what's lost maybe to the entertainment side to keep it entertaining? Does that kind of sometimes subtract from method?
Totally.
Yeah.
I've said on many of my shows, especially with groups out there, that there's not enough education when it comes to people who come onto a ghost hunt. Let's take, for example, my mate Barry. He's never been on a ghost hunt before. He's going to go on a ghost. He Googles ghost hunting teams. Bloody hell, he gets 100,000. Christ, what's Barry going to do? What groups he going to pick? Now he has a identity of looking into temperature.
Yeah.
But when you look at ghost hunting groups, they're very loose with what they bring to the table. They're very good at advertising and making it all scary. Now, it's very good an interaction ghost hunt kind of thing. But is it really educating people who want to further their knowledge more? No, definitely not. It's entertaining. It's a probably good stepping block for your interest. But as it were, for taking it to another level, I definitely recommend going to places like ASAP to do that.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like the events.
They're great. They are great.
It's what I were really looking at is even myself. Like if you're going live, you do want to keep it rolling and keep it upbeat and moving forward. But there's a lot of things we do after live and before, where it's quiet and you're alone and there's nothing happening and you're just watching and observing. And literally that probably would not, if you put it on Facebook, people go like, "What's happening?" It's like footage. You can go through hours of this stuff.
I mean, again, going back to the social media concept. I mean, this is a question to you, really. Then, I mean, do you think that social media has had a beneficial effect to the paranormal?
I think there might be like a pro and a con side to it all. For instance, like I mentioned to yourself, we did a lot before we came onto social media.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
But being on social media, you meet a lot of people from like America. Irene, that's in the chat. She's
Irene.
She's from Japan.
Oh wow! Wow! May I ask a question to that lady? If you just after yours.
Yeah.
I mean, just going back to international countries. I mean, in Japan, is ghost hunting accepted in that country? That's to that lady there. Irene.
I've not asked Irene that. I do. I've learned one thing. I did an article about it. They have a strong belief. Like the houses, if it's thought of as haunted, the rate of that house on selling, it's reduced heavily. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
They really do respect energy and things like that a lot.
Again, just on that, I mean, if you take our friends in America there, they have to, in certain states, publicly announce if their house is haunted before selling. Now, that would not happen in this country.
No.
We know that. I mean, if you did that, you would not sell your house for one, and people would think you're absolutely weird. But again, in that country, it's accepted, and I think in different kind of nationalities
More
and countries,
more
it's
open-minded,
accepted
isn't
more.
it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I do like that. I mean, Irene has put they did. It seems like they did, but not anymore.
Okay, I wonder why that is then, Irene. That's interesting. It's something that I'd like to include in my book with regards to different beliefs and different nationalities and their understanding of what a ghost is. That would be interesting to know, to be fair.
And the wealth of myths and legends as well from that country.
Oh, God,
I've
yeah.
always had a fascination.
Incredible.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing.
Mm,
It's a place I've always wanted to visit, actually, as well.
definitely, yeah. Me too.
Going back to that
Me too.
ancient aliens as well. I mean, the Zoroastrianism and in Hindu beliefs, they've got a lot where they're flying gods.
Yeah.
And I know they cover that on Ancient Aliens, the program, and you look at it and you do think to yourself, you think there's in the very early stages, it does seem like a lot of people through globe, parted by a lot of distance, did say the same thing or witness the same thing. Definitely recorded the same thing. I don't know. So I, like you said, it's a broad field. And
it's a huge field. Huge field.
I'd love to cover it all. I see something new and I'm on it. I want to know.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's the best way to be, to further your knowledge. And knowledge is the best thing to have as an investigator. It really is. And talk to people. Talk to everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the best way. It really is. And it's helped me understand. I mean, back when I first started, I kind of poo-pooed everything. Like really poo. And I may become very abrupt in certain aspects and articles. And I think over time, I've now had an understanding and an empathy with people with regards to their experiences. Because let's be honest, if people experience something, then who are we to disregard anything of their experience? Because we weren't there to start off with.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's been a learning curve. It has.
I mean, also as well. I mean, if that experience has changed something in them or led them to something, and it's really important, then it makes it as real as anything. If you ask me,
right?
Because some people say we're in your subconscious, or did you see it because you thought you saw it? Who knows who's playing that subconscious or triggering it?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's hard to disregard those things.
Well, it's impossible for someone to argue the fact that it didn't happen because you weren't there. I mean, let's take the Enfield haunting as I mean, to me, that's probably the best documented supposed case ever. There's no doubt about it. I met Guy Lowland Playfair. Yes, I did. Yeah, before he passed away, God bless his soul. He gave an amazing talk, and it was when at the time Sky TV did a TV show on the Enfield haunting, and it was a debate between him and the producer of the show, because when you look at the show, well, it's like Hollywood on acid. It's just so extravagant, and he was getting really riled about it because obviously he was there. He documented it. He did the book "The House Is Haunted," which I recommend all the watchers that get that amazing book. To kind of poo-poo what he went through, Maurice Grosse and others, is a total disregard to their professionalism, because they were professionals, part of the SPR, one of the best groups in the world. It's a phenomenal feat to document a case in that detail. There's no doubt about it. It's so well documented. Yes, the girls may have caused some of the activity on purpose, but some of the stuff that happened, witness testimonies from lollipop ladies right through to police, women.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Let's
Yeah.
not shy away from that. It's something happened in that house.
Definitely.
Most definitely.
Yeah. I mean, for instance, like you were saying, those girls, they may have exaggerated maybe some parts.
Yeah.
But I believe even when they did that, it's because there's something happening. And
yeah.
they might have wanted to show someone it is happening. But it weren't happening now, so they'll exaggerate it.
Exactly.
And, get it out there.
And you got to think they had people from the Sun newspaper, again, testimonies that things happened. One of the reporters getting hit with flying Lego bricks on regular occurrences.
Yeah.
You know, when you peel that back, you know, something definitely happened in that house. Now, whether it, I mean, if you read Guy's book, it is truly amazing. He does give his views and concepts of what actually happened, which is very interesting in itself, especially with Morris's Gross's daughter that passed away prior to the investigation.
Yeah.
There's so many avenues you can go down with it, but there's no doubt in my mind something definitely happened in that house. There's no question about it.
Yeah. You strike me as someone that will have a few projects on go at the moment, or you've got a few things that you're looking at. What's your latest?
The main thing at the moment, because now the restrictions are starting to lift here in the UK, I have been told that the convention I'm speaking at is going ahead, which is an amazing thing, because one of which I started work on the talk last year. So for it to be cancelled, I'd have been gutted.
Yeah. What's the details of that, if you don't mind?
I can't go too much into it because I know there's people on here watching that will be going to the event, but I can give you a kind of insight as to what it is. Basically, I live in rural Lincolnshire, United Kingdom. I live in Bomber County, as it's dubbed, Lincolnshire. And I live quite close to a road called the A15, which runs from Peterborough right up to Lincoln. Now, this stretch of road has had, well, a hell of a lot of people claiming to have experienced full-bodied apparitions jump in front of cars, horses and carriages, disembodied pieces of human structure. The list goes on. It's been a very intriguing thing, and a talk that I've kind of narrowed it down to. Now, it's called the Ruskington Horror, dubbed by the media back in the early 90s by Richard and Judy from This Morning. Can you imagine that? Remember them? It was a story that was shared on international TV. A guy called Kevin Whelan phoned in, someone who is local to me, and I've interviewed for the talk. Now, he witnessed something that was truly, well, put it this way, if I saw what he did, I would have left the country. I would have packed my bags. I would have been gone. It was a truly meticulous account of which stemmed a fascination with the media. Now, when I looked into the story, I found more stories. So once I interviewed Kevin, more people branched out and saying, yes, I've actually experienced something quite similar to that. So basically, the talk is based on the A15 road ghosts. But what I've actually discovered is something a bit more dark and sinister to what people are experiencing. Close to that road is a preceptory of one of the last remaining buildings of the Knights Templar, called Templesborough. Now, if we look into this preceptory, it's basically a tower. That's all it is. And this tower was part of a massive building that the Knights Templar constructed and used it as a fighting exercise yard, basically. They
Yeah.
used it to practice fighting, battling, medieval style, jousting, the lot. And it's one of the last remaining pieces in the UK, which is fantastic. If you see it, it's absolutely amazing. You can visit it. It's closed at the minute, but you can visit it. But the talk is linked to this tower because I believe that what people are experiencing is linked to the tower and is currently, now I've talked to a lot of people who are very into ley lines and ancient monuments.
Yeah.
It's intersecting, the road intersects on a Roman road, the Temple Brewer Road, and of course a ley line. Now, when you get those three factors into this place where people are experiencing things, there is no wonder that people are seeing things.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. So basically, the talk is all about that. But I can't go too much into it. So I'll get told off by the convention. So
go on that. I mean, straight away, I'd like to go to be there. Actually, I love ley lines. I've been looking into them myself. It's funny as well that when I did start out, I thought I'd look at bedrock seams in UK and which way they flow, how they all seem to meet around Stonehenge in a cluster kind of way. There's a lot of interesting setup there for energy as well, because they do an energy conduction.
Okay.
For earth in a power stations, things like that.
Yeah.
When you look at those charts, it also follows those seams, and I mean that's energy there.
Ancient ley lines. It's a phenomenal piece of. I mean, people will poo-poo it, but I was one of those people that didn't believe in it until I started doing my researching into why people are experiencing things, and people claim their house is haunted because it's run under ley line. I mean, one of the best probably examples, the ancient Ram Inn. I mean, that's an intersection of ley lines. So again, is it coincidence, or is it a plausible explanation as to why people are experiencing phenomena to that magnitude? We don't know. We don't know.
that one, it's like that. What you're saying, that one project alone could be a life's work trying to get to how deep that can get. It is.
The more I dig into this, I mean, I discovered the other day that there was 2 excavations at the preceptory, one of which was in the 1800s by a vicar, an amateur excavationist, who proclaimed to have uncovered a mass grave of which there were sacrificial burials of children. Now, if you look into the Knights Templar, there are some guidance of which they went down the line of the occult, because let's be honest, they knew a lot of things that people are still not accepting, so that's a possibility. But I'm really looking into this previous excavation in the 1800s, because apparently there's tunnels under the preceptory that leads to a church in Wellingborough, which is 8 miles away. So maybe I'm going to get me shovel and spade, and I'll relate what I find. It's like the Indiana Jones of Lincolnshire.
Thing is, it can't be any more interesting. When you start getting into that, that's amazing. I mean, we can't mention the pub because we probably still get into trouble. But we were in a cellar, and someone went, there were a tunnel down here somewhere. And we're like, all right, fair enough. It was tapping walls, and one bit sounded hollow. Anyway, he went, guys, just carry on upstairs. He must have got a saw out. He came up and he went, guys, come down. He made an hole in the it weren't plasterboard, it was like an hardboard. And he made it, he moved a few bricks, and there was the opening for that tunnel.
Wow.
And he goes, I had to find out. He goes, I could get into trouble if they knew I'd done this. So it did blick it back up. But it shows you that, because we were asking, and he were thinking, like, well, I want to know. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, it did go a bit into in a distance, but then there was that much rubble, we couldn't go any further.
Oh, wow.
But I know Nottingham has an amazing
huge
network.
structure. Yeah, it does. It does. You can actually go to the Nottingham City Caves. I've investigated one of the oldest pubs in Nottingham, of which is connected to Nottingham Castle. Believe it or not, Robin Hood, the legend, is connected to that. I don't know whether he was real, but god damn, it's a great story.
It is, and yeah, no matter who we were, even if we were figment of imagination, he's got an airport now as well. So
wow, well done.
The Robin Hood airport.
There you go. Well done, man.
That's done well. Tom, it's obvious. It's obvious you've got a lot of knowledge. Please send us links. We'll post them up.
Of course,
to your work, any of your sites that you've got, projects.
Yeah,
be great for people to see. And also as well, I'm going to do a talk. We're just going to do a live coming up. You can by all means join in if you like.
Okay, of course.
It's about hearing the listening to EVPs. Now,
okay,
what it is, there's been a few experiments done where if you tell someone that's what it's going to say, you'll hear it because your brain
it processes what you want to hear, basically.
Yeah. And there's a few experiments. There's that green laser, some here green laser, some here skateboard or something, and it's the same sound. But if you tell yourself, it's like it's like the opposite to an optical illusion. It's an hearing illusion.
Mm-hmm.
You can create that pattern in your head to receive it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be well up for that. I'll be well up for that.
I listened back some EVP. I heard. I'm still hearing when I hear it. I hear "get out" or "look out." I'm not sure. I did a few bits of jobs, some heavy work. Came in. I was in a different mood, and my body were, pumped from doing different things and jobs. Because I listened to it first thing in the morning after I woke up.
Mm-hmm.
When I came back in day, I listened to it back. I couldn't hear it.
Okay, that's interesting.
I can't hear it now. This is not good. I thought I had something, and I woke at it. I'm thinking, I'm not hearing it. So without saying anything, I sent it to a few people and said, "Look, can you just listen to that? I'll send it to you as well."
Yeah, please do. Please do.
But this clip is not what I said. I thought it said. I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
I don't want to program anyone to hear it.
Cool.
It's about the illusion, because as we get older, there's frequencies that we stop hearing.
Yeah.
From 20K down to 12, and it shows you what can you trust? Because a lot of people, when using sound, they use software machines to actually see what they're hearing. So they can know exactly what's there. So I thought it'd be something to we play these clips and just think, what do we miss? What could we be missing? If we don't share with other people, if it's just me listening to it.
No, that's good.
Yeah, definitely. I could not know. Send it to yourself or someone.
Definitely.
They might have a different take on it, kind of thing.
Definitely.
So,
cool.
There's a lot of things that we can definitely can cover.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to depart. I'm going to have to put my children to bed. But it's been a great show. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Please do stay in touch, and thank you everyone for watching. Really, it's been a great night.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely have you on different subjects if that's okay. And
Cool.
we live in South Yorkshire, so
Excellent.
when things are less restricted, by all means, it'd be great to have a meet up maybe. So
Fantastic. That'd be
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Thank you,
definitely.
everybody.
Right, yeah.
Take care.
Thanks everybody, and thank you so much. Excellent.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you. Right, guys. Thank you for watching. Irene, thank you. Trisha, how you doing? If you've got any questions, just put them up in comments. Thanks to everyone that's watched. Hello, hi Andrew, Mandy Bell, how you doing? Terry, Leslie Hudson, Team Spirit at Paranormal. Philip, yeah, how you doing? Just saying that. It were a great talk. Thomas has obviously got a lot of knowledge about a lot of different things. Enjoyed it. That was great. Trisha, what's on there? She's had some amazing. She had an amazing experience. Also, tragic at the same time. But Trisha's had a very interesting experience, which is Irene as well. She's had an amazing experience as well. There's a lot of comments there, which you look at them and it shows you how different paranormal is to different people, and that's the best thing about, I think, talking to different people in the field. Noreen.
Well, this is what Beyond Dimensions is all about. It's about the voice of different people and different cultures, different backgrounds. It's not even paranormal as such either. But it were lovely to hear different theories as such. And
yeah, definitely. Hello, Katie. How you doing? I hope you're feeling well. Everything's good.
Irene, I will pass pass Tom your details, and he'll probably end up messaging you.
Definitely. And that's one definite. That's one definite. That is like Leslie was speaking, and Trisha mentioned earlier, and Irene says it. No matter how long you've been into something, you can always learn a lot more about.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of things in paranormal field. So you've got UFOs, things like this. Michelle, how you doing? Joanna, maybe one day I'll speak. Yeah, we're just reading Trisha's message. Great to have you on, Trisha. I mean, we've met Trisha, haven't we?
Falstaff, I believe, wasn't it? Yeah.
There's been a couple occasions. Lovely woman. That would be an interesting chat to have. Definitely do it at your time. When you want to on that one. You can have a chat in general on. Where she lives, the different events that she's had. She's had a different experience than us in paranormal, which it's always great to hear about. There's many different subjects as well. I mean, there's ley lines. Tom mentioned ley lines. I love looking into ley lines and ley line energy. If any of your guys have experienced.
Oh yeah, we'll look at Trish. John, about Trish said about the hospital.
Yeah. Went to the hospital. That was a really good night as well.
I haven't been. I want to go.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I ended up meeting Welsh police. and they were amazing. They were lovely, absolutely lovely. They gave us another destination to look at. They went, oh, if you aren't scary, you want to go up there. And I'm like, thanks, lads, nice. Really nice. And people that were there with Trisha, they were all nice as well. So that was good.
Actually, coming on to the subject of the ley lines, when we actually conduct our investigations, what people don't know, due to the fact that, you know, it might be boring to some, but we actually do research on the locations where we go to and if ley lines do cross and stuff like that. But we never really put it in because some people don't like to hear it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, Trisha, yeah. we didn't know the police at first, so I mean, we were all right. We weren't doing anything wrong. They ended up having a laugh with us, and Trish didn't know they were police, so they just thought there was some randomers winding us up, but they really weren't.
Funny. I would have loved to have been there. It sounded like it was good, that.
And the location as well, really good, that hospital. But yeah, we used dowsing rods as well. I mean, I were asking dowsing rods the other day. I were adamant, this is where I've seen what I've seen. It's got to be over here. I were asking dowsing rods. It was pointing other way. I'm like, I'm not listening to that. And Phil said, look, you've done it to ask. Follow it. Just shut up and follow it. So I did. I'm like, oh, well, waste of time, but come on. And we ended up finding the remains of a wall to a building that people say might have existed in this woods. And the wall's there, and you can actually see where square building were. So we're trying to find out now, aren't we, through local history group, what that building was.
Actually, we should update people. Birchwood, it's ancient, and the actual wood has no records of any building on there, due to the fact that it was that big and it's that old. No one conducted a survey.
Yeah, it was just classed as a wood, and I don't think they actually went into much. But yeah, that wood. I'm actually writing up about a legend on that location. We're gonna put that over. So that, yeah, we'll cover that. Yeah, thank you, Michelle. That's great. Yeah, Trisha. Dowsing rods. Yeah, I suppose the reason why we don't use them live too much is because of what you've said. It's easy to look at it and think, well, you could have twitched or moved or walked on a slant or something like that. But we've just thought, do you know what? We do use them. We're going to look at it, and we're just going to see what happens as an outcome. So, how we're going to go there. The dowsing rod said there, and it did turn out really well for us, because it took me out my set path. So yeah, I suppose we can only judge it by result on that one, because just like you said there, Trisha, nerves, reflexes, stepping on a stone and going out of balance, can move them, can't it? So. And like pendulum, we've always had the pendulum. We've always used the pendulum. Again, but I suppose we judge it by where it's led us, and we've got the project. We've got the project ball and chain. We'll keep posting that up. Lockdown's kind of slowed that for a bit, but no problem. Project Ball and Chain is where we actually map DAOs. We did it 10 years ago. Started it 10 years ago. We map DAOs using a pendulum. Wherever it stops, we visit, and then we try and find out where does it,
there,
what happens? Where does it send us? You know, and we've ended up in trouble with. We've ended up with police called in on us.
That would, is it goal? Is it
Derby Jail? Yeah, Derby Jail. Yeah. We were knocking on back door. They thought we were drunks because of the time of day, and police came out. But it's okay, no problem. And there were excellent people in that museum, so that was great. We've ended up on country roads with head-on with a tractor. Hi, Robin.
I might have killed us both twice.
You've nearly killed us a couple of times. So went down wrong way on a one-way road, Phil.
I'm telling you, it was sat nav.
Nearly died, guys. Nearly died a few times. But I must admit that hairpin turn that you did in the VW Polo on 2 wheels was amazing. It did come up from nowhere. There were no signs. But Phil, please.
Yeah, it was foggy.
It was foggy as well. Yeah. There's been plenty of adventures, and so Project Ball and Chain. Slowly, we're going to get it out there.
Yeah.
And we've ended up in places that we wouldn't have. I suppose that's the beauty of that project. We've ended up in places where we would not have chosen.
No.
Yeah. We wouldn't have thought, let's go there. You know.
For videoing of what we're doing now on Ball and Chain, we've actually got 3 locations that we need to go to. But when this lockdown's finished and we're able to, freely go to these locations, we will update everyone. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Because there's some inside places that we want to go, and at the moment you just can't do it. So it makes it tricky. So yeah, and right. So that's it for tonight. We will be live again,
folks.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. It's always it's always nice to know that there's people there and I'd like to listen, and it's thanks for the support, guys.
Yeah, Robin, Carol, and there's many others in the Para-Unity group.
Yes, Para-Unity group.
And there's so many. Jacqueline, doing amazing job. Robin shares a lot and supports a lot. Carol does. Many others do. So it's great. Thanks to them. And thanks for watching, guys. And we'll see you live very soon.
Love you all.
Any questions, suggestions, anything? Yeah, just message Paige. It'd be a delight to read. Thanks, guys.